Well, Logan, game 44, the last regular home game of the season, and the Birds are playing back-to-back against Chatham first last night, and we saw a couple guys come to life. Garrett Benge, outstanding last night, 4 for 5 with 2 doubles. What allowed Benge to come to life last night?
Well, it's really great to see that Garrett Benge, we talked about it for a while. He coming off of a college World Series Final Four run at Oklahoma State. He played a lot of ball, got to the Cape late in the middle of June, and he had to adjust to the wood bats. You're using aluminum in college, so Garrett Benge, it took him a little while to get things going, but he's working a 5-game hitting streak. He has 3 multi-hit games in those last 5 games, and then last night, 4 for 5, 2 doubles. He put on a great offensive effort, but unfortunately it wasn't enough for the Firebirds. Last night was one of those classic Chatham-Orleans games. It was a pitcher's duel all throughout, tied going into the 9th inning. Both teams failed to score. We went to extra innings, and then in the bottom of the 11th inning, Donovan Casey was playing right field for the Chatham Anglers. He was 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts coming into the at-bat to lead off the 11th inning, and he had a walk-off solo home run just out of the reach of a leaping Riley Mahan in left field. So a great game, but to go back to Garrett Benge, he put forth yet another great offensive effort. It's just a matter of can his teammates and him get things going and start driving in guys who were in scoring position.
Speaking of driving runs in, hard to come by runs last night. Only 1 run up on the board for the Birds, and we saw the lineup that we're going to be seeing in the playoffs. What can this lineup do to increase their chances of making it to the next game?
Well, they have to start hitting with runners in scoring position, as we've just mentioned. The Birds are 3rd in the Cape Cod League in batting average, but they're 7th in runs scored. So when you equate that, they're hitting, but they're not scoring runs. They're not doing enough with runners in scoring position. We see too many strikeouts, too many double plays. We see a lot of leadoff, 1-out doubles, and those guys get stranded. And this is such a deep lineup. When you have guys like Zach Kirtley, hitting at the bottom of the order, it's deep. So it's all about the top of the order getting things going. You have 2 great guys in the 1 and 2 holes, and Brian Miller and Ethan Paul, both guys who hit the ball well and can get on base. And then power in the middle with Garrett Benge, Riley Adams, Adam Hazley. So there's so many good players. It's all about the timely offense. And obviously the Birds need a good pitching effort as well, but the thing that's been hurting them a bit has just been the inability to drive in runs in key situations late in ball games.
So much talent, and it's all about timely hitting, Logan, as you've said. We've seen these hitters, guys batting above the 350s on this team, so it's all about putting it together at the right time. However, on the other side of the ball, the pitchers have been stellar. The bullpen has been stellar. Guys like Williman, Stokes, Belak really coming together, and what's allowed them to come together here in the latter half of the season.
Well, I've been talking to a lot of the pitchers recently, and they all say, Kelly Nicholson and Jamie Quinn, they both say, trust your stuff. And a guy like Brandon Belak's throwing 95 miles an hour. He's got a great curveball. If he can trust his pitches and keep the ball down, which is another focal point, that really works. You saw Will Stokes come in a couple of nights ago, struck out 5 batters in 2 innings because he was blowing the fastball by guys, but was also locating the slider well, keeping the ball down. That's the biggest thing for the Firebirds. You cannot leave the ball up in the zone for the opposing hitters to drive. And as we've talked about with the Firebirds not doing an excellent job with runners in scoring position, that puts more pressure on the pitching to do their job and to prevent guys from scoring. So that, the pitching has to get a little bit better and the offense has to get better. And if those 2 aspects are clicking, and obviously the Firebirds defense too needs to take a step up. They're 3rd in the league in errors. So if the Firebirds can improve a little bit in each area, that's going to put them in a great position for the playoffs going forward, because as we know, once Friday rolls around, nothing prior to that matters. It's a 3-game series, and whoever's best in that matchup will win.
The last regular season game of the season tonight here at Eldridge Park. The Firebirds face off against Chatham, and it looks like we have a pretty big crowd on hand. People have been lining up their chairs all day. Their last chance to see a regular season game in the Cape Cod Baseball League comes tonight. First pitch is at 7 p.m.